3 years since we bought this Qashqai and connector version, and we've decided to not change the car but buy it back from the leasing company because we liked it so much. So I thought I will put together a quick video of what we liked and what we sort of didn't like about this car, just to give everybody an idea. Hope this helps someone. So first, let me talk about things that we liked about this car. On number 3, it is the safety features that the car has. This particular end connector version we got has got inbuilt safety features like the first one that I'm quite impressed with is the speed limit sign recognition, automated speed limit sign recognition. And then so the car, when you're driving it reads the speed limit signs, whether they are the permanent ones or the temporary ones, and it displays the speed limit right in front of your dashboard. And that actually helps quite a lot if you have missed the sign and you are not sure what's the speed limit on this particular road, then that helps quite a lot. Another safety feature is the lane departure warning, which is quite handy, especially on the motorways when you are driving at a bit higher speed than the usual. And another safety feature is the forward collision warning. So if the car in front of you slows down immediately or unexpectedly, then there will be a beeping sound, and this car, the Qashqai, will try to slow itself down as well. All these 3 features, initially I had thought they are just the gimmicks and I might not actually end up using it, but I did end up using it quite a lot. When I said speed limit sign recognition, that is quite handy. I use it all the time. The lane departure warning, not as frequently, but it does come in handy whenever that happens. And the forward collision warning, it has happened a few times, more frequently than I had initially thought it would happen. So that's quite handy as well. One thing I forgot to mention in terms of the features that I loved is the 360-degree parking. That is extremely useful. I can see what is around the car. At any time, and which comes in really handy in tight spots or even in non-tight spots. I can clearly see if I have parked well or not even before stepping out of the car, and I don't have to open my door or window to see if I've parked well or not. That really helps. The sunroof has been very useful because it is panoramic sunroof and it is fixed. There is no chance of any rattling or anything going wrong. We had for a short period of time a car with sunroof which used to open, and we realized that we never actually used it. Nobody really opened it because the wind wasn't really comfortable in British weather, so there was no point. This definitely is more useful. It helps you get a bit more light in the vehicle, and it's good. The keyless entry has been excellent. There's no need to use the key at any point of time to start the car or to enter the car or to lock or unlock. So that is really brilliant. Even to open the boot, there is a separate lock and unlock button on the boot. It Usually when there is keyless entry, there is only a button to open the boot. But what if I'm parked somewhere and I'm only opening the boot to get something and then closing it, and I want to lock the car? In one of my previous cars, I had to then go to the driver's or the passenger's door to lock the car, whereas in this one there is a lock button on the boot itself. So if I'm just using the boot to open, get something and close it, then I can lock it from there itself. Number 2, the best thing that I like about this car is the space and the comfort features. So in terms of space, you can see that it has got loads of space both in front as well as at the back. My kids have never complained about the space constraint or lack of comfort in terms of seating or in terms of quality of the seats or anything else for that matter. The boot space is also quite nice. I have a big cricket bag and I can fit that one in along with some shopping quite easily. In front as well, the space is absolutely amazing, no problems at all. In terms of comfort features that we got in this particular version, my daughter is quite fond of the heated seats in the front. There is electric seat adjustment for the driver's seat, which is quite handy. You can adjust it to the smallest possible level. So these things are quite important. It does matter when you are sitting in a car, and if you are not comfortable in terms of space or seat quality, then it doesn't matter how great the car is. So for example, there was a Ford Mustang that we went to see, and the back seats were so uncomfortable. There was just no leg room for anybody who is sitting behind. So no matter how expensive the car is, no matter how good it looks, no matter how good it runs, if it is not comfortable, then it doesn't help. So space and comfort is quite important, and that's something that we liked quite a lot on this car. But the number 1 feature that we liked, it's not actually a feature, it's the quality of the car, is the reliability of the ride. So when I'm driving the car, I know how reliable it is. I know how the car responds to me, how the accelerator, brake, clutch responds, and that has not changed at all since the time I bought the car, so 3 years back. That quality has been consistent, absolutely, and that is quite a big thing. I quite enjoy that part, that when I sit in the car, I know exactly what to expect and how the car is going to behave, and that's quite reassuring. I never had any breakdowns which was unexpected, neither on city roads nor on the highways, motorways. The ride quality has been consistently good. The response of the brakes. So these are the things that you don't really think about consciously, and that's a good thing, that if you don't have to think about these things when driving a car for 3 years, then that means those are the most important aspects of a car, and they are well built, and that's, I think, is the best part of this car, the reliability of the ride. Coming to the parts which could have been a little better. It might have been improved in the later versions of this car. So there is a new version of Qashqai which has come out this year, for example, which has got a few of the things that I am missing in this car. So you never know, things have improved. But I still wanted to mention these things which I sort of disliked in this particular car. So number 3 is the body roll. Now I'm nitpicking here, but I came from driving a sedan, so I was driving Ford Mondeo earlier, and when I started driving this car, the first thing that I noticed was if I'm resting my head very lightly, then it keeps bumping against the head support, headrest, which was not happening in my Ford Mondeo, and I don't think it happens in any of the sedan, in any of the comfortable sedans. I know this is sort of an SUV. It has got a higher seating position, so it is expected that we will get some sort of body roll. It is not that bad, but I can still definitely feel the difference between this and the Mondeo that I used to drive. That there is some level of discomfort there. So if I really want to keep my head still, then I have to sort of slightly press it against the headrest so that it doesn't move. Otherwise, even on the smoothest of roads, it sort of keep vibrating against the headrest. So that is the first thing. That is number 3. Number 2 is about sound and rattling. Now again, I'm nitpicking a little. In terms of sound, again I'm comparing it to the few of the other cars that I've driven, but in this one I feel that the outside sound is slightly more prominent than the other cars. So if I'm driving on motorway, I can hear the noise of tire constantly rubbing against a road. If other cars goes past me, then I can hear that as well. That was slightly less obvious with my Ford Mondeo or other cars that I have driven. In terms of rattling, again I'm nitpicking a little because I'm very picky about rattling noises. Right now, luckily I'm not getting any, but for first couple of years I used to get vibration noise. When I bought the car, I definitely used to get rattling noise, and I immediately took the car back to the dealer and they got it sorted. Then I used to get a vibration noise whenever I started the car and drove it for the first time in the morning. And I took it to the dealer twice, but they couldn't figure out what is happening, because it only used to happen in the morning when I drove the car for the first time. And after half an hour, it used to vanish during the rest of the day, and the next day it would again come up. And the dealers couldn't figure it out, but my wife sort of noticed it when she started driving the car recently, and she insisted that no, we have to get it sorted, and she took initiative, went to the dealer, and we gave them specific instructions that keep the car with you for the evening, drive it tomorrow morning from cold, and then notice the noise. And luckily they did notice it, and they found out that there were some cables or piping which was rubbing at the engine side, and then they changed their position slightly and they fixed it, and then that noise has gone. So that has improved things a lot. In terms of rattling, I still sometimes get something, and it's very difficult to understand from where the sound is coming, because if somebody is sitting on the passenger seat, that person does not hear it at all. And I've tried that when I hear the sound, I tell my wife that she should drive it, and I sit in the passenger seat and I don't hear it at all. So the way the acoustics work in this car, it's strange. driver seat is, I'm guessing, worse affected in terms of those rattling sound whenever they come. So it can be small things like somebody has left something somewhere below the seat, or when somebody put water bottle somewhere, then it's start to rattle a bit. My wife's handbag, when she puts it on the floor, sometimes the chain or something else start to rattle and it drives me nuts. But I'm guessing that could be true for any other car. I don't know. But that rattling thing was not that prominent with Ford Mondeo. I again keep going back to that car for some reason. But so that is number 2. And number 1 is the quality of some of the entertainment system, navigation system, and some of the electronics, which could have been a little better. In terms of the price point of this car, I understand they have given it as much as they can, but still, for example, navigation, I can't use the navigation. It is so unreliable, so I always end up using Google Maps, which is much better. And in that sense, it could have really helped if there was a possibility of integrating Android Auto in this car somehow. I miss it so much. If there was an Android Auto, then I wouldn't have to stick my phone on a stand somewhere over there and keep it charged and have a cable running always, and all that is a bit messy. But I can't do away with that because I can't use the navigation system, and there is no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay for that matter. So that would have been a big plus. So in terms of 360-degree cameras, I love the actual feature, but the quality of the camera could have been a little bit better. It is very good, it is sufficient, but in terms of HD cameras and full HD and 4K resolution, where things have improved in terms of your phone screens and your television in leaps and bounds, it's slightly unfortunate that the car camera and the quality of the screen is not that great. So yeah, about the quality of the gadgets and some electronics, that is something that could have been improved a little. But again, I'm nitpicking in terms of what I'm not liking about this car, because that is very apart from Android Auto, which I'm missing a lot. I think all the other things is quite small, and if you're not really particular about it, then you should get away with it, no problem. But that's about it. That's what I wanted to share. 3 things which I like about this car, and 3 things which I don't, or which could have been improved. Hope this helps someone. If you can think of something else, if you have a slightly different experience, to share your views in the comment section. If you want me to cover anything else, or if you have a question which I can answer, do let me know in the comment section as well, and I'll try my best to respond as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.